Now, an extraordinary story of courage, commitment, and patriotism. Our next guest has become an inspiration to women across the nation after becoming one of the first 3 women to graduate from the United States Army Ranger program. She has defied labels and barriers that society can often place on people by never backing down from a challenge. And she has written a new book entitled Delete the Adjective, A Soldier's Adventures in Ranger School. Let's welcome U.S. Army Reserve Lieutenant Colonel Lisa Jaster. Welcome to America Right Now, Colonel. Thank you so much for being with us.
And thanks for having me, Tom.
Colonel, Army Ranger School, it's one of the toughest training courses in the military. It's dominated by men. You were 37 when you signed up to go through all of this. It's considered kind of late in the game from a military standpoint, military career standpoint. Why did you want to go through it?
You know, my husband and my sergeant major at the time kind of talked me into it. And one of the reasons they said I really needed to go was that at 37, I had a wealth of experience where I could fall back on that and really be able to push through it. And specifically, my husband said to me, you know, this is this great opportunity. And if you don't go and nobody passes, how are you going to feel about yourself? Are you going to have regrets? So it became one of those, just like President Roosevelt said, I wanted to be the man in the arena, and I'd rather fail bloody and tired than to have never tried.
Yeah, what did people say when you indicated you want to go to Ranger School? And how did you prepare yourself for this? Because I'm sure, like anybody who does anything great and rare, somebody had to say to you, hey, look, you know, this is probably not a smart idea. You shouldn't do this.
I actually had a very good family friend say, hey, as a mom, having 2 young children, you've pushed through a lot of different things, already deploying to Afghanistan, already deploying to Iraq. It's time for you to focus on being a mom, because if you're not around when your kids are young, they're not going to care and come to you when they get older. And I thought that was a really, really good point for them to make. And I was glad that they brought that up to me, because at the end of this journey, I was going to have to look into my boss's eyes, my husband's eyes, and my kids' eyes, and say the time I was away from family and work and everything else, was it value add? And because she had asked me that question, I was able to say, you know what, I think my kids will respect me more and push themselves harder because I'm going, and because I'm going when I'm older. Yeah, I thought that was actually probably one of my best motivators, was that question.
Colonel, the book was just released. Tell us about the book, and I love the title. You know, we do tend to focus on labels in our society, and those labels do create perceptions that can create barriers. So talk to us about why you wrote it, and why it's so important to delete the adjective, as you say.
I think our military is a great example. Unfortunately, we debate it a lot about integration and gender and all of those labels and how we should work those into our military society. So an example for me is, if my husband goes under the knife for surgery, I want the best possible doctor, not the best possible in any one demographic. And I think our military needs to be thought of as the same level of importance. There's a very, very specific mission for leaders, combat leaders, and combat arms soldiers in the military. And we need to base our selection process on merit. Now, being integrated is great. Recruiting a diverse community is fantastic, but we can't hire and fire based on the adjectives. We need to focus on merit 100%. And sometimes the best person for the job is a woman. Sometimes it's a man. Sometimes they're green. But the best person for the job needs to be the one who's selected.
Yeah, how do you think the military top brass are responding to that kind of a message?
It's a complicated situation, of course, because we want our military to be representative of our society, which is extremely diverse. But we also, I think the military leadership has done a very, very good job, specifically with regards to combat arms, because at Ranger School, there were no female standards versus male standards. There was no standards that were different for a 140-pound person versus a 240-pound person. So the standards are based on the mission requirements. So I think with regards to Ranger School and some of the other elite training environments, the military has done an excellent job at making sure that merit is a primary focus.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people are concerned about that. They're all for providing this equal opportunity and integration and the experiences of different folks from different backgrounds, different genders, but don't lower the standards in order to do that. And that's the way that we ensure that we have the best fighting force in the world. And the kids have got to be very proud of Mom, not only about this, but also about the book. Which is on sale now. Definitely check it out, folks. Lieutenant Colonel Lisa Jaster, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for your service. Everybody check out the new book, Delete the Adjective, A Soldier's Adventure in Ranger School. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.